Hello everyone, welcome to Study My Life. So, as we have seen that your math and chemistry class already has started, and from today I am going to start your physics class, and very soon your biology class also will start. So, let us discuss the first topic of your physics class 10. The name of the chapter is force. But before going to the entire elaboration of the chapter, we must have to know what is force. But before going to the entire definition of force, we have to know what are the changes occur if a force acts upon a body. Now, what are the types of body? One is rigid body, and another one is non-rigid body. Now see, if force acts upon a rigid body, it will change the motion of the body only. It will change the motion of the body only. But if the force acts upon a non-rigid body, it will change the shape, size and motion of the body. So, from this thing we can say that the definition of the force may be written as by applying which on a rigid body it may cause of the change of the motion of the body, and by applying which on a non-rigid body it may cause of the change of shape, size and the motion of the body. Okay, now let's have a look how the force may change the motion of the rigid body. So, types of motion we have to see. Types of motion for a rigid body. See, what are the types? There are basically two types. Okay, the first one is linear or translational motion. And the second one is circular or rotational motion. Now, let us give an example for both of these two. Suppose an object is over here and we are giving a force from this direction. So this will be the direction of motion of this object. This will be the direction of motion for linear or translational motion. Now, what about for circular or rotational motion? This kind of thing only applicable for such object which is fixed or pivoted at a particular point. If this point is fixed, so this point may also written as pivoted point. That is pivoted point. Now, for the rotation or circular motion, it obviously need a force. Suppose we are giving a force either in this direction or in this direction. That is either in upward direction or in downward direction. Whatever the direction of the force may be, whenever we will apply the force. See, I am giving you a practical example for this one. Suppose this is the object and here this point is fixed. So if we give the force over here, it will try to rotate in this direction, that is in anti-clockwise direction, and if we give the force in downward direction, then it will try to rotate in clockwise direction. But whenever it will try to rotate with respect to this pivoted point. And we can also say like that, suppose this is the object and this point is fixed. So if we give the force over here, now the object will try to rotate with respect to this axis as well as this is a point, but whenever we will give the force over here, it will try to rotate with respect to this axis, and whenever we will give the force in downward, again, then also it will try to rotate with respect to this axis in clockwise direction. So here with respect to a particular axis, this object will try to rotate. This axis is known as axis of rotation. Now, from here we can say, if a point is fixed of an object and if we give a upward force, so it will give a anti-clockwise direction. So for this kind of thing, there will be two kind of direction. One is anti-clockwise, and suppose this object is fixed and this point is fixed, and we are giving force in downward direction. Now the object will try to rotate in clockwise direction. That is in clockwise direction. Now see, what are the sign conventions for clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation? See, for anti-clockwise rotation, the sign convention is always positive, and for clockwise rotation, the sign convention is always negative. Now, as I have said just now, that depending upon the direction of the force, the object will rotate either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. Now, for the rotation of an object, it is depending upon the force that is applied on the body or anything else. Now let us see. Suppose this is an object. This point is fixed and we are giving the force over here. As I have said just now, that after giving the force in this direction, the object will try to rotate with respect to a particular axis, and this axis is known as the axis of rotation. So our next topic comes from here is moment of force, or also known as torque. Now torque is denoted by this sign, and this sign is known as tau. Now tau is equals to F into perpendicular distance. Now what is this perpendicular distance? From where the distance is measured. Now see, this is the line of action of force and this is the pivot point. So the perpendicular distance from the pivot point to the line of action of force is denoted over here. So from here we can say, what is the definition of moment of force or torque? That is the multiplication or the product of magnitude of force and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and the pivot point is known as moment of force. Now from this relation we can see that moment of force is basically dependent upon the magnitude of force and the distance. So what are the factors that affect the moment of force? First one is magnitude of force, and second one is distance. Not only distance, it is better to say that the perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance from pivot point to the line of action of force. Now let us see how it is dependent. Suppose we are taking a constant value of tau, that is 24 over here. Now see, if the distance is minimum, that is 1, so the maximum force is required. See, 24. Suppose if we increase the distance, now to make here the multiplication is 24, here it should be 12. 12 into 2, that is 24. Again, if we increase the distance, again the force will decrease. See, again if we increase the distance, again the force will decrease, and by this process it will go on. That if we increase the distance, the minimum amount of force is required to rotate our object. Now I am giving you a practical example from here. Suppose this is a door. So this point are hinged or fixed, means we can say that these 3 points are pivoted point. And if we give the force to close or open the door, a distance is mattered. How the distance is dependent? See, as we have seen from here, if the distance increase, the amount of force is decrease. So if we want to give the force over here at the nearer of the hinged section, so the amount of force maximum required. As we increase the distance, amount of force is less required. Okay. So from here we can say that if we give the force on the maximum distance, so the least amount or least magnitude of force is required. And this is another example, that is jack screw. Jack screw is basically used to carry a heavy loaded thing. Jack screw has a long arm, as because it has a long arm, so the least amount of force is required to carry a heavy weight thing. Now, as we have seen that depending upon the force and the distance, the moment of force or torque is varied. Now, first thing is when tau is the minimum, and the second thing is when the tau is the maximum. So let us discuss the maximum thing first. As we have seen from here, that there is the relation among moment of force or torque, the magnitude of force and the distance. So from this relation we can say that when the tau max is possible, either F max or perpendicular distance is maximum. Whenever perpendicular distance is maximum, amount of force is least. Whenever the amount of force is maximum, the perpendicular distance is least. So if we give the maximum distance or the maximum force, it will occur the maximum tau. Now when the tau will be minimum, but before going to this topic, I want to show you, anybody can ask what is the minimum value of tau. Is it possible that the value of tau will be 0? Yes, it is possible the value of tau will be 0. For which condition? Let us see. See here, F into perpendicular distance. So if we don't give any force, that is 0 into perpendicular distance, it may cause that the moment of force will be 0. The next thing is perpendicular distance is 0. If we give the force at the pivot point, see here, if we give the force over here, So for that case, the distance that is basically measured from the pivot point. So if we give the force over here, so there will not be any distance between the pivot point and the direction of application of force. There will be no distance. So for that case, the perpendicular distance will be 0. That is over here. And there are another case. That is, if the force is applied on the axis of rotation. What is this? See, for door, this was the axis of rotation. With respect to this axis, the door basically rotates. So if we give a force in this direction, so the line of action of force is basically on the axis of rotation. If the force is applied on the axis of rotation, it is better to say that if the line of action, if the line of action of force is applied on the axis of rotation. So these are the 3 points. For these 3 cases, it may be that the tau is 0. And if tau is 0, so no moment of torque or no moment of force or torque will occur. So it means that if the force is 0, perpendicular distance is 0, or if the line of action of force is applied on the axis of the rotation, there will be no rotation occur on that object. Now see, from this point also, we can say that if the maximum distance is provided, then the minimum or the least amount of force is required. Based on this also, the Jacques Stroume described. As because Jacques screw has a long arm, so the maximum distance is provided, and based on that, the minimum amount of force is required. Now, see, as you know, this relation, that is tau is equals to f into perpendicular distance. Now let us see what are the units of torque. See, first let us discuss about the SI unit. What is the unit? So see, if we discuss for the SI unit, so unit of torque, that is equals to the unit of force into unit of perpendicular distance. So what is the unit of force? In SI, the unit of force is Newton. And what is the unit of distance? That is meter. So the SI unit of torque is Newton meter. Now, as we know that Newton meter is also known as joule. So can we write joule over here instead of this? Instead of this Newton meter? To know this thing, we have to know one another thing. See, joule is the unit of work or energy. Work is a scalar quantity, but tau is a vector quantity. Now, how tau is a vector quantity? Just see over here. It is an object fixed at this point. So, if we keep the force over here, the object will try to rotate in this direction. And if we keep the force over here, the object will try to rotate in this direction. So in which direction the rotation of the object will occur, it is basically dependent upon the direction of the force that we have applied. So when the value, that is the magnitude and direction, both are dependent, this kind of thing now is known as vector quantity. So as because tau is a vector quantity, so we cannot say the unit of tau is joule. Unit of SI unit of tau is Newton meter only. What is the CGS unit? CGS unit of tau, that is dyne centimeter. This is the CGS unit of tau. Now, what is the basic relation between Newton meter and dyne centimeter? Let's have a look over here. See, 1 Newton meter. As we all know that 1 Newton is equals to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So instead of 1 Newton we can write 10 to the 5 dyne, and instead of 1 meter we can write 100 centimeter. So 10 to the power 5 dyne into 10 square centimeter. So it will be 10 to the power 7 dyne centimeter. So here 1 Newton meter. So here 1 Newton meter is related with a dyne centimeter, that 1 Newton meter is equals to 10 to the power 7 dyne centimeter. Now, another thing that you must have to know, that if the force is measured in gravitational unit, then how it looks like. See, if the force is measured in gravitational unit, so we can say over here that instead of 1 Newton we can write 1 kgf meter. Instead of 1 Newton we have written 1 kgf, and instead of 1 dyne we can say 1 gf centimeter. Okay, now see, 1 kgf meter or 1 gf centimeter. So this 1 kgf is 9.8 Newton, and this 1 gf, that is 980 dyne. So this is all about the unit of this moment of force or torque. Now let us move for the next topic. Now, a single force does not allow a pivoted body to rotate. To rotate a pivoted body, minimum a couple of force or a pair of force is required. So as we have discussed, based on that, we already have said we have applied a single force, and by applying the force only, the object has tried to rotate with respect to its pivoted point. Now, how with the application of single force only object has tried to rotate? Because whenever we will give the action according to the Newton's third law of motion, we know every action there have a same and opposite reaction. So if we give a force, obviously a same amount of force will give back as a reaction force, but the direction of that force will be reverse or opposite. We see over here, for an example, if we give a force over here, the same amount of force will give back to us as a reaction force, but the direction of that force will be opposite. Now let us give the name of this pivoted point as O, and this is A and this is B. Now see, this is the couple. The same amount of force is acting at a particular distance, and the direction of these two forces is opposite to each other. Let us find the numerical relation for moment of couple. Now see, from here we can write. Okay, we are writing from here. Moment of force at the end of A. Say at the end of A with respect to point O. This point. Now say we have to find the moment of force at the point A with respect to this point O. That will be force into perpendicular distance from the pivot point to the line of action of force. And what is the distance between the pivot point and the line of action of force? Here that is OA, and the force is F. So here it will be F into OA. Now the same thing again. Moment of force at the end of B. Here B with respect to point O. That is say F into OB. because here the pivot point is O and the line of action of force is at the point B. So the distance is OB. Okay. Now you see here for the end of A we have calculated for a single force, and for the end of B we have again calculated for a single force. Now if we want to find the total moment, now this thing will be known as the total moment of couple. Now this is not moment of force, this will be moment of couple. Why? As because the total rotation is dependent upon these two force. Now what is the total moment of couple? That is F into OA plus F into OB. So I think this concept is clear to you. Why here this is moment of force, here also moment of force, but here the moment of couple. Why here the moment of force? Because the moment with respect to O at the end of A for a single force, and here the moment at the point of B with respect to point O for a single force. But whenever we will find the total moment, that will be the moment at the two ends where the force is acting with respect to a pivot point. But as because there are a couple of forces acting at a time, that's why the total moment will be known as the total moment of couple. So if we take F as common from both the thing will be like that. Okay, now see F into OA plus OB, OA plus OB, that is the total distance. That if we add OA and OB, the total distance will be AB. That only I have written. See, this is the moment of couple. Now, what can be the definition of the moment of couple? The definition may be written as, see, this is moment of couple. So, moment of couple may be written as F, that is either force, as we have to give the same magnitude of force. So, either force into AB, that is perpendicular direction between two forces. Now let us see what are the directions of the rotation. Either this is anti-clockwise or clockwise. See, for this one, F into OA. See, this point is fixed and the force over here is downward. So the rotation will be like this. The rotation will be like this for this force. So in this direction it is anti-clockwise rotation, right? See, anti-clockwise. And I've written in the short that anti-clockwise direction, that A is CW, and the clockwise direction, that is CW. Okay. Now see, what is the direction for this at the end of B? Here, and at the point O it is fixed. So if we give the force upward, again it will generate a anti-clockwise rotation. So here also anti-clockwise rotation. So if both the force makes anti-clockwise moment or direction, so the total moment of couple, the direction of the total moment of couple also should be in anti-clockwise direction. Now you can see from here also, see, this point is fixed and we are giving a force over here and a force over here. So by applying a couple of force, the object will try to rotate with respect to this fixed point. The object will try to rotate. Okay, and as you can see, the total direction of force will be in anti-clockwise direction. So during this thing, we must have to give the direction of rotation. And as I have already said you in the first thing, that the sign convention for anti-clockwise direction is positive and for a clockwise direction is negative. Let's move to the next topic, that is equilibrium of bodies. To discuss the equilibrium of bodies, basically you have to consider two kind of equilibrium, that is static equilibrium and kinetic equilibrium. If a body is in static condition, for that this definition or this equilibrium condition, will exist. When a body remains in a state of rest under the influence of several forces, the body is in static equilibrium. Means if a body is in rest condition after the application of some several forces, then that will be known as static equilibrium. And if a body is in a state of motion under the influence of several forces, now that kind of thing is known as kinetic equilibrium. Now, what are the conditions? Conditions for equilibrium. Conditions for equilibrium. What are the conditions? Number one. It is the resultant of all force should be zero. The resultant of all force equals to zero. And the next one is the summation of all the moments that is equals to zero. Either that is in anti-clockwise or in clockwise direction. So this is also an important thing, that what is the conditions for equilibrium? The total resultant of force equals to zero. Now what is resultant of force? That we will say in your class 11 physics, the name of the chapter is vector. We will see over there what is the resultant of force. But for the time being, you just see the total resultant of force should be zero, and the total momentum, the total moment of force, that is also zero for the equilibrium condition. Now see one thing based on the conditions of equilibrium, and this thing will help you to solve the numericals based on this structure. You just see one thing. Suppose this is a uniform bar, and as you know, the CG of an uniform is basically at its center. Okay, and it is fixed at its center, or it is balanced, and this thing is also known as fulcrum. So if the total distance is 100, so we can say that from here it is 50 and from here it is 50, as because at the midpoint the fulcrum is balanced, the uniform bar. Now suppose here F1 is acting downward and here F2 is acting downward. Now distance from here it is 30 and it is 20. So the total moment of force for this F1 will be F1 into 30. F1, see, this F1 into 30, as because this point is the pivotal point. So F1 into 30. Now what will be the direction of rotation? See, here it is fixed and the force is downward, so the direction of rotation will be anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. If we go for this part, see, here it is fixed and the force is downward. So F2 into 20. Now what is the direction of rotation? Here it is rotating in clockwise direction. So as we have the data already from our introduction that anti-clockwise direction is positive and clockwise direction is negative. Okay. Now see, for the condition of equilibrium, the total moment of force should be equal to 0. So we can say that F1 into 30 minus, here minus F2 into 20, that is equals to 0. So before going to the next class, you guys see the entire video from the very beginning, so that this theory portion will help you to solve the numericals based on this portion that we have done today. Based on this theory, we will solve all the possible numerical that may come in your exam in the next class. So before going to the next class, you just see the entire video the entire theory portion of this chapter. And I think you guys are enjoying our videos, so please like, subscribe and share our videos, and stay tuned with us. Very soon your biology class also will start over here. So stay with Study My Life. Have a nice day.